You're listening to the Show We Go Baseball podcast.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode 61 to the Show We Go. We got Chris Henrique and myself, Andrew Parker. Today's episode, it's the Alex Hoppe episode. If you're not familiar with Alex Hoppe, you should be, because he was on the latest rounds of NRIs for the organization. And he was actually just drafted in 2022. I had to look at that again because it seems like the way you've already risen, you reported straight to high A, but just drafted in 2022, just 2 years ago at this point. Finished a year in Portland last year, but I want to start off just I know we were just talking off air a little bit, but what have you been up to in the off season, even before you got down to the complex?
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. It's a great honor to be on here. But working on in the off season, I connected with the staff with the Red Sox before the season had even ended up in Portland, and we had identified certain goals, both on the field and off the field, that we wanted to work on before I even came down here to Fort Myers. The two main ones were I needed to put on some weight. I needed to get bigger, stronger, not only just for power purposes, but also to withstand the lengths of the season, of a minor league season, which last year was my first year doing so. And then, like, on the field, one of the topics of discussion or goals that we had was developing a changeup, developing that third pitch to help me in certain situations as I rise through the ranks of the minor league organization.
How much? I'm going to just jump in real quick. What did it look like for you to kind of put on weight? You know, because like we heard and read I think it was last year before Shane Drohan kind of broke out. He was incorporating like eating a ton of steaks and eggs and stuff like that. What did it look like for you to kind of put on like a healthy weight, and how do you go about? Because I assume that's not something you typically do.
Yeah. So, I mean, in my entire college career, professional career, I've always been on the lighter side for my height. I've always been a thinner guy. So it's always something I've struggled with, but I had multiple meetings with the nutrition staff, a part of the Red Sox, and we identified certain tweaks or pieces of assistance that we could do. So one of us is snacks. Before I would maybe have one snack a day, and then I'd have my 3 meals. But if I can implement a snack in between lunch and dinner, in between breakfast and lunch, and then maybe something right before I go to bed, that also helps. And then also what I did was portion sizes. Whatever I took as my normal portion size, I added one and then another half of it. So 1.5 what I normally would have eaten. So if I had chicken breast, I add 1 chicken breast plus another half a chicken breast, just to intake the calories and try and replace what I was expending in the weight room in the off season, running, conditioning, that such.
Would it be safe to say that you are not on the Hunter Dobbins pregame meal routine?
I am definitely not on the Hunter Dobbins pregame meal routine. No, I am not going to be going to Hunter Dobbins for any type of pregame meal routine ever in my career.
You're not a 2 Dr. Pepper kind of guy before a game?
I don't even drink pop or soda, so nope.
Neither do I.
I respect it.
What did the snacks look like? I'm always fascinated when it comes to food. I'm just kind of curious. What's a snack for a baseball player? Is it a regular? We're just gonna go grab a bag of Doritos, or are you what's a snack?
My go-to snack. I love pretzels. I don't eat many chips, and I'll tell you right now, a good snack is not probably going to be going to grab any type of a chip of any sort, but to substitute that would be a pretzel variant. And so that's one of my go-tos. I also love apples. I was grabbing a big Honeycrisp apple and munch on that with some pretzels.
I haven't had a chip since last July, so.
Oh, that's impressive there. That's pretty impressive.
Or a French fry.
See, there I can't do it. I eat French fries.
Oh, too good to pass up. But all right, I want to talk about receiving the NRI. obviously something that was probably a huge honor for you. And I guess let's talk about it. So was it one of those things, were you expecting it at all?
No, honestly, I wasn't. I was kind of going into the spring training with no expectation of any such. I was wanting to work, get better, compete in the games and situations, but the opportunity of getting an invitation like that was never on my mind. And even with the talks I had with my agents and with the Red Sox personnel, it was never something that came up, or wasn't ever something I was really expecting either.
And so how did that conversation go? Like whenever you got the call, where they, when they told you, like, what did they give you? Like, okay, like you're going to get into X amount of games earlier in spring training, or like, how did that go when they gave you a call?
So at this moment, all I know is that I've been given an invitation. Brian Abraham called me and gave me talked to me and gave me the invitation and told me he was very thankful that I accepted the invitation, and I was told him I was very honored to accept it as well. And he said in the coming weeks we would sit down and have a meeting and maybe talk about what that may look like, kind of how Major League spring training runs, because I have no idea how it moves or how it runs. But I haven't had that meeting yet.
Have you had any interaction yet with any of the new? And we'll talk more about the pitching, philosophies and change of the Red Sox. But you get to talk to anybody like Justin Willard yet, or even like we'll even say like Bailey or anything along those lines before getting down there?
Before getting down there, I had not. But Andrew Bailey was down here for a couple weeks ago, and he sent me a text saying congratulations and stuff, and he wanted to meet and introduce himself. So he came down here a couple weeks ago, and one time in practice when we were playing catch and stuff, stepped aside and had a brief conversation with him, introduction. He said he's looking forward to getting to know me as a player and a person and working together. And I assume that in the coming days we'll have multiple more conversations. But other than that, I haven't had anything like that yet.
And what are your thoughts on all of the pitching additions via like coaches and trainers? Like, I feel like we've seen a ton of driveline guys get added. Obviously, the new CBO is a former pitcher himself. So what have been your thoughts on just like seeing the influx of pitching minds join the organization?
I think anytime you can add intelligent baseball minds is a good thing. I don't think you can ever have enough of those people in your corner, on your side, in your dugout. So I'm all for it. I'm ready to learn. They're going to have so many different perspectives compared to what I've been with before, and I'm willing to listen and willing to try everything that they wish for me, because they, at the end of the day, they want me to succeed as well, as much as I do. So I'm willing to learn and willing to take their advice and try it out.
And have you, just in regards, I know obviously you said you're going to have a call within the next week or two or whatever on like next steps on what you should expect, but I guess just going into it, you got that invite, you're going to be a part of it. Is there anything that you've done to like prepare yourself to be around the big league guys more?
Not so much, because I kind of want to stay true to myself. That's one thing. After I received the call, like I kind of thought about it, and obviously I want to go in there and learn as much as I can from that type of training staff and being around professional or high level professional athletes. But I don't want to try and change anything or alter my routines because Alex Hoppe's who got there. I don't want to try and change Alex Hoppe just because I got the invite. What I did before was very, very successful. I'm going to keep doing it. And if I need to make changes along the way because of advice given to me from the training staff or even the other players, then yes, I am going to make those adjustments. But I think at this point, it might be kind of foolish to try and change or think differently or go about my processes differently, because I have no idea what to expect with it yet.
Now, we talked to you. We just found out we talked to you in August of last year. So it was like maybe like right after you got to Portland.
Yes.
So now that we're in the off season and now that you finished out the year in Portland, you got a taste of AA. What type of things did you gather from your short time in Portland that you're going to take with you to this upcoming season?
Just the differences in identifying some of the things I had to work on. In high A, I could get away with throwing 2 pitches. I didn't have to really dabble with the 3rd pitch or such. But as identified through my own eyes and through the training staff's eyes, like if I want to continue to rise, I need a 3rd pitch. And we identified that as a changeup. So being able to have 3 pitches that I can throw at any time for strikes with good movement will greatly advance not only my feel for the game at AA, but hopefully also for AAA and beyond.
You were part of a trio. Actually, I'm going to expand that. There was probably 4 to 5 guys, I felt like, in the Portland bullpen towards the end of last year. You may not have overlapped with Ryan Fernandez, but I think he may have came up right before you got there. But there was quite a few guys that were throwing triple digits, and yourself included. What was that like being in a bullpen with guys like Luis Guerrero? I think you overlapped with. Yeah, you roomed with him. I'm pretty sure. I think I remember
that's correct.
So you had a guy like Luis Guerrero. You had guys like Christopher Troy's throwing hard, and Fernandez even before you. But what was it like, I guess, being surrounded by guys like that had a lot of velocity in the tank like yourself?
It's awesome because we always work to push each other, and we're always rooting for each other. And to see us get rewarded, I know it's just through a radar gun, but to see that reward for the work that we put in is just amazing. It was also a really cool feel because in the bullpen, we knew that we had however many guys in there that could come in an 8th or 9th inning late situation and shut the doors and get a save. There wasn't like one dude or like he had to go in to get the save and nobody else can go in and get the save. We have the stuff and the numbers and the guys that anybody could go in a late inning situation and shut the door on the opposing team. And that was just a really cool feeling, and we were all rooting for each other to have those opportunities presented to us.
We've heard a lot of guys that have come on this show this offseason. A lot of guys that played in Portland last year and Greenville as well. And you played for 2 managers that I have heard. Well, and Chad Tracy up in Worcester, but you haven't gotten there yet. But the 2 guys that you played for last year receive a ton of hype just from all the guys that have played for them. What can you say that you took away from playing for a guy like Iggy Suarez and a guy like Chad Epperson?
I would just say both of them are the ultimate professional. The way they go about their day, they come in, get their work done, do what needs to be done, execute their jobs onto the field, but yet also they know how to connect to their players. They do a really good job of that. They know that the season can get very tiring. They know what it's like being in our shoes. And yes, we need to come in and do our job, but they understand what we're going through. And if they need to throttle back on some workouts or report times, then they know to do that. If they need to push the gas pedal a little bit more, they also know to do that as well. So I would say they're both the ultimate professional.
Yeah, it's we talked to Ryan Fitzgerald I want to say, what was it? When did we go up there to Worcester, Andrew?
It was last week.
Saturday's last weekend. And he was mentioning how the coaches that he was with here in Worcester just had the ultimate feel. And the game is shifting. A lot of it is going straight to analytics, and a lot of managers are very analytical, and they're going by what we're going to, for lack of better terms, the computer is saying to do. Would you say that the coaches that you've been around so far as you're coming up to the Red Sox system have that good feel of kind of what's going on, whether it's in game or just with the player, and just, has that instinct of what's going on?
Yeah, I do. And I think a big thing that also helps is, yes, you have the analytic guys in the dugout with them to help them with the decisions if they need to, but they also lean on their feelings or the old school style way of coaching, for lack of a better term. So I believe that they have a nice balance or mix of the two, which in my opinion is some of the best attributes a coach can have. To go all analytics or go no analytics at all, I don't think is great. To have a mix of both of them and be able to rely on certain situations on each of them, I think will make you a better coach overall. And I believe both of those managers have that.
We actually talked to, we had Corey Rozier on, one of your old college teammates, a few episodes back, and he kind of had a unique answer. So we asked him, obviously he got an NRI as well. And he said that a guy that he was looking forward to the most of just like being around and maybe picking his brain a little bit was Rafael Devers, a guy like that. So is there any guys that you're looking forward to, I guess, on the veteran side of things that you're like, you would love to have a conversation with?
Actually, I've already had a few conversations with this guy because he's already been down here. Garrett Whitlock, he's been down here, and we even before the NRI came out, him and I have had a couple conversations and introductions to get to know each other. And of course, we've had more conversations after that as well. In fact, I just had lunch with him today before I got on here. So I just wish to continue to pick his brain because he's been a guy who has had success at the major league level doing a variety of roles as well. So I think it would be really cool to pick his brain and pick his mindset going into those roles.
And so I was looking at something, and it's a common theme on this podcast, though. But you've been predominantly a reliever throughout your career. In college, I see you did get a handful of starts at Greensboro, but predominantly you've been out of the bullpen, and that's where you've been in professional ball. And you even had some experience too. I saw on a few save opportunities in Portland and Greenville. Is that something that going forward, like you could see yourself being in that type of role as you progress through the system?
I think I'm a reliever through and through. Whether that means I'm a late inning reliever, a guy who maybe can go 2 to 3, does not matter to me. I want to go and fill whatever role the team needs me to fill at that moment. I'll tell you right now, I've had talks with the Red Sox. I'm not a starter. Not going to be a starter. It's not, that position is not suited for my best strengths. So, but whether that's a relief role in the early innings or late innings, doesn't matter to me. I honestly love being a reliever more than I did a starter, honestly. I love the mindset. I love that I can just come in there and just grip it and rip it, so to say, and not have to worry about pacing or anything of that such. And whether I'm going to treat the 6th inning in a save situation like I would the 9th inning, because I don't want to let runs up in the 6th inning or the 9th inning, no matter what inning I'm pitching in. So whatever relief opportunity I'm presented with, I'm going to treat it like a save opportunity.
I feel like that's something that's it's interesting because we've had a lot of talks. We spent a lot of time around the team in Worcester this past year, and it always takes me back to, like, you know, seeing a guy and talking to a guy like AJ Politi that's, you know, he's through and through. He was the Blue Sox closer most of the year last year, and he's just got that, like, he's got that in him. He's just got that desire to, like, want the ball at the end of the game, like that a little, like, psychopath, like, in the mind of being like, I don't care if the bases are loaded and we're up by 1. I want the ball right now. So you don't strike me as like a guy that's just like a I don't know, just like can turn into a psychopath, I guess. But is that like, is it hard to flip that switch sometimes, like at late in games?
I would say it's hard, but it's definitely something I had to learn. Because I'm a pretty level-headed, low energy, easygoing type of guy, but learning how to flip that switch into a competitive mode on the mound is something I had to learn throughout college. And honestly, I didn't pitch much until I learned how to flip that switch. But once I did, I think it's kind of easy to flip that switch now, because, like, you want to do well, not only for yourself, but for your team. And if you know that you need to flip that switch because of yourself or for your teammates, it shouldn't be that hard to flip it.
Yeah, I got to tell you, thinking about it, right? Because to Andrew's point, you know, come across very, to your point, very kind of laid back, seemed like a go with the flow. But the fact that you, like, that seems like your demeanor, but yet can go and throw 100 on the mound, to me is like, it's wild. That's nuts. You know what I mean? I know you said you're willing to do whatever when it comes to a relief role, but you know, would you like to see that opportunity this year where you can be that guy in the 9th inning, getting that ball and kind of closing the game down, or are you really just like, hey, I'm genuinely like, I'll pitch wherever you say to pitch, and that's it?
Oh, absolutely. I want the 9th inning role. I want to be the last guy on the mound to shut the door and such. Give me every opportunity that I can. I don't care if I had a rest day or not. Just give me the ball. But I know sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes the top of the lineup guys are coming in the 7th or 8th inning, and maybe I'm best suited to face those 3 guys. So if you want me to come in the 8th inning and knock out their top 3 hitters, boom, give me the ball, I'll go. And then if a situation presents itself where, okay, maybe we need to extend you to the 9th, boom, send me back out there. It doesn't matter to me. But to answer your question, yes, I would love to be in a ninth inning role late in the game to get the save and get the win for the team.
Did you have any growing up? Did you have any relievers or closers that you kind of like idolized? Was there a guy that you kind of strived that you wanted to emulate if you ever got to the opportunity to get to the bigs?
I don't know if there was a reliever, because growing up, I was always a starter. In Little League, we never had a closer. It was a guy who's going to go out there as long as he can. But a guy, at least pitching-wise, who I like to emulate was Jack Flaherty, because like early on in his career, he was like a fastball slider guy. And that's my calling card right now is fastball slider. Of course, we're working on a changeup, but I love watching him manipulate the ball and throw to certain spots with his fastball and then throw his slider off it to put guys away.
I always forget that you're a Cardinals guy because of I always forget you're from Iowa originally, so correct. I always forget that's part of Cardinal country out there.
Yeah, it's a little bit mixed. Majority, I would say, is a Cubs country, but growing up, the Cubs were so bad, and I got so sick and tired of watching them lose and watching my grandma and grandpa watch every single game, and they would always lose. So I'm like, okay, I can't root for the Cubs. They're always losing. And what team were they losing to? They were always losing to the Cardinals. Like, I'm going to root for that team. And so ever since I was little, I've always been a Cardinals fan, against the thoughts of my grandparents and family.
You betrayed WGN back in the day, right? No, sorry, grandparents. It's happening. But
yeah,
you know what's crazy that we found out on this podcast earlier? I think like a couple weeks ago, we had Theo Dinlinger on. And he made, he's a blacksmith, right? So he made an axe for Adam Wainwright. And
yeah, I did. I did see
no
that on social media.
He was. He had no idea who he was. I was like, dude, he's royalty in St. Louis.
Oh, absolutely. He's royalty in the Midwest.
Yeah. I don't know. When he was telling that story, he's like, yeah, I was just at a conference and a guy came up to me and was like, oh, like we started talking and he said he was a pitcher. And I'm like, and he said his name was Adam Wainwright. I was like, are you kidding me?
How do you not recognize that guy?
They're going to build a statue of that guy outside Busch Stadium most likely after he calls it quits.
Absolutely.
So, no, I always forget you're a Cards guy, but because I grew up in St. Louis as well. So I understand how it is. And we just talked to Nick Robertson yesterday about it, and he's going to the Cards, and talked to Ryan Fernandez a little bit as well. But speaking of that, though, you said you saw it on social media. You're not a social media guy. I'm curious, like how what's the right way to word it? Because we always ask guys, we're like, so are you one of those guys that like searches your name, you want to see what people are saying, but you're not very active on there? So like, how is the social media experience for you, like while you're pitching?
Non-existent, if that's a good way to put it. I mean, when I use social media, I use it to follow sports teams. That's right.
Okay.
I keep a close collective of people who I follow, like teammates, close friends and such, like Theo Denlinger. But other than that, I'm not really on there to post like anything of such. I like close friends' photos and such, but I'm not going on there scrolling, seeing what people are saying, or, oh, what's this person doing with their life right now? I'm not searching people's names to say, oh, I'm curious what they're done with their life. It's not something I ever got into growing up, and I still really, there's no edge in me or want to really follow or use social media like that.
Yeah, because I earlier I go to your Twitter and I'm like, never tweeted.
Nope.
There's not one tweet, and then you go to your Instagram and I'm like, there's no posts.
I know some people think that like, oh, this might be like a spam account or something like that because an old picture and such. Like, no, it's my account, but they'll never really post or anything.
Is that like, do you think there's a benefit for you for that? Because there's some, obviously you have a teammate, a CT, that is very, 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 very active on social media. And that's just how he is, though. That's how he wants to be. And, if it works for him, it does. Like, is there any type of benefit of just like not having to like read just a bunch of junk all the time, like on social media?
I'm sure there is. There's going to be benefits and negatives to it throughout. Like for CT, like, yes, if you're someone who wants to build their brand, both on and off the field, yeah, social media is probably the best place you could do so right in today's society. But again, like you said, you're going to have to read through some some wording and some thoughts and stuff that may not be appealing to you. I guess it has its benefits and negatives as well. Funny thing is, like, CT's one of the closest guys I am with on the team, and yet we have drastically different thoughts and usages of social media. But I think that's the cool thing about it is, like, yes, some guys are going to want to use it and build their brand and use baseball through social media or use social media through baseball, and some guys aren't, but yet you can still connect with them.
It is crazy because, I just had to double check, but you just turned 25 a couple months ago, I believe.
Correct.
And I'm starting to notice, some guys even in the Red Sox system too, like Roman Anthony's another guy that comes to mind that has zero. So like he has an Instagram that has 0 posts. He doesn't have a Twitter. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm 29, so I'm not too far. Like I'm still in the same age bracket as you guys, right? Like wait until I'm 30. But I just like, there must have been like after a certain point, because I feel like my grade grew up with like MySpace was like a thing. I think it may have been a few years before you, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember any of my friends using or talking about MySpace. I think the big thing was like, even, and this was when I was younger, like older people that I knew were just getting into Facebook. So
okay, yeah. See, I feel like it was like that like weird gap of like my grade, and then we were in MySpace and Facebook became a thing in like 2007, 8 or something. I don't know what it was. And then because I was like 13 or 12 or something when it came out, and I don't know. I feel like your generation was just like, not generation, but your grade was like a little, I don't know. But kudos to you, man. If I could do it, I would. It's hard, especially what field we're in. But
yeah, it's super hard with doing this. I was telling Andrew earlier, or maybe it was someone else, but like it gets to the point where sometimes I'll tweet something and then I have to mute it. It's just I can't. It's constant just whining and complaining, and I know that I'm mocking the people who are going to listen to this, and I don't mean it with respect, but for the love of God, just come up for air for 5 seconds. It's doom and gloom in the sports world. But anyway, I definitely it'd be something like if you were going to school and you were going to do like a case study on players who do social media versus not social media that's within a particular sport, and just it's fascinating. I think there's more layers to this than I think we want to go over on a podcast, but it's definitely an interesting topic.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree completely.
All right, Alex, are you ready for a speed run? I have 16 questions and we can knock them out in less than 3 minutes.
All right, let's try it.
Are you up for it?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Nick Robertson did pretty well on this yesterday, so I have some faith in you. All right, let's start this. I went over a little yesterday. I said 2 minutes. I was like 4.5, I think, but I think I can get it within 3. I think we're gonna get better.
I'm gonna time you. I got the stopwatch out.
All right, start it. Movies, shows, or live TV?
Shows.
Best game you've ever been a part of, like playing wise?
Probably one of the championship runs that I had in college through the tournament.
What song has been stuck in your head recently?
Ooh. Payphone by Maroon 5.
I love that. By the age of 30, you want to have accomplished what?
I want to be a professional baseball player for the Boston Red Sox at the major league level.
So if there was one rule in the MLB or minors that you could change, what would it be?
All levels to use Major League Baseballs.
I was not expecting that one. That's a good one, though. Favorite athlete outside of baseball?
Tom Brady.
Oh, that's a good one right there. Weirdest baseball superstition that you have or that you've seen in person?
Ooh. I always put my right sock on and then my left sock. In that order, every single time. Never the left and the right, always the right, then the left.
When did you pick up on it? You're like, oh crap, I do this.
It was actually pointed out to me by a teammate of mine in travel ball, like we were getting dressed like in the back in the trunk of a car one time, like putting socks and cleats on, and like, dude, like I've watched you do this like 6 or 7 times this week, and you've always put your right on your left. And like subconsciously, I didn't even know I was doing it, but I stuck with it.
All right, fair enough. Who is the player that you have played with or against that had you left thinking that they were the best player you've ever seen in person?
That's a tough one. I mean, there's numerous guys, but I'll just say a couple of teammates. Roman Anthony and Marcelo Meyer are pretty elite players I've played with, and they've left me speechless a number of times with their plays in the field or their at-bats.
I don't think anybody's going to argue with you about those answers. What is a guilty pleasure of Alex Hoppe?
Oh, I love double stuffed Oreos. I'll try and limit myself to 4 Oreos at a time, but then I'll just go back 2 or 3 more times and grab 4 more each time.
That's the snack you didn't want to admit earlier.
Yes, there you go.
It's all right. Nutritionists don't listen to this. It's okay.
Yeah. Meet that one out.
Okay. This one's an important one. I need your, and I didn't ask this to you last time. Favorite fast food fried chicken chain?
Culver's.
It's first.
Chicken?
Yeah, they're buffalo chicken tenders from Culver's.
Fair. All right.
Midwest guy right there.
Oh, that's right. Hey, I love Culver's. I've only had burgers there though, so all right. Never had chicken from there. While we're on the chicken kick here, are you a drums or flats guy?
Drums.
Okay. You sort of answered this earlier. You know what? I'm not even going to ask that one because I already know your go-to pregame snack is the pretzels, apple. Is that the combo that you're okay?
Yeah, throw in some fruit snacks in there too. I'll have a fruit snack here and there.
Okay. What was the most memorable part of the day when you got drafted?
Ooh, just seeing the reaction of my parents. I had a small group. It was just really me, my siblings, and my parents, and just seeing the look on their faces of excitement, and it was something I'll never forget.
I need to know a fun fact about the state of Iowa that most people wouldn't know.
Oh, the statistic may have changed, but I remember in high school, it used to be there were 6 pigs for every 1 person in Iowa.
I love that. That's incredible.
And the number may have gone up or down, but there's not many people compared to the hogs or pigs there.
That's good stuff.
All right. See, that's what I'm looking for with that question. That is exactly what I'm looking for. All right. Final question. It went way over 3 minutes. I got to start doing
Who
something.
Who tracks that?
I have no idea.
I don't know, but that's good. I thought it was gonna be something about how Iowa gets a lot of slack for corn and the Iowa Hawkeyes, their offensive line is just a bunch of corn-fed guys. I don't know.
Or a lack of a quarterback for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Yeah. Or the Ferentz is just chucking along out there and not putting up 3 points and a half whatever. All right, final question of the speed run. Worst topping to put on a pizza?
Ooh. Onions.
Oh, really?
It's cutting deep, man.
Wow. I like peppers and onions.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you though. I've been I've just been into just regular cheese. That's been my speed lately.
Oh, I'm always Italian sausage. Going back to the hogs in Iowa, good Italian sausage, a little spicy sausage on the pizza. That's my go-to.
I got something for you. Whenever you do one day make it up to Boston, there is a big Portuguese population in the state of Massachusetts. And there is a topping called linguiça. I know they have it around, but I feel like in Massachusetts, it is the best I've ever had. On some of those South Shore bar pies. Whew, yeah, it's good, man. It's like Portuguese sausage. Isn't that what it is, Chris?
100%. You can do the linguiça, which is a little different than chorizo, but I will say if you're going to have it, definitely go spicy. It's good on a pizza. Debate whether you want to do sliced or ground, whichever. But if you're going to do ground, then throw green pepper on it.
Ooh, all right. I'll have to try that. I've never even heard of it, so
it's pretty good, man. It's I I grew up in the Midwest as well. Never heard of it. Never saw it on a menu. Nothing. Then when I moved out here, it was all in the South Shore, Boston. So, all right, Alex.
Wouldn't be confused with chorizo, because chorizo is not the same thing. And a lot of times people try to connect the two. Food Network does it from time to time. I'm telling you, it's not the same.
Noted.
All right. I have one question left for you before we let you go. Unless, Chris, you have anything left to follow up on my speed run or anything.
Yeah, so 5 minutes and 39 seconds for the speed run. So I think this is going to be a 5-minute segment from here on out. You just got to get it within the 5 minutes.
All right,
You want to ask, though, you did say the very first question shows, what's some of your go-to TV shows right now? What are you watching?
Ooh, I'm a big Marvel Star Wars guy, so I didn't have time this offseason to watch like Loki for the new TV show from Marvel, so I'm kind of catching up on that right now.
I've not seen it yet, so that's it's potentially one I'd like, though. So
yes,
I did make my fiance watch every single Star Wars movie when I first moved in with her, and I thought she hated me for a second, but I think she actually enjoyed them. So
me and my girlfriend, I'm starting to make her do that as well.
Okay. I think that, she actually told me, she's like, it has a good storyline. So I'm like, okay, she didn't absolutely hate it. It does have a good storyline. It's great.
Yes, I agree.
All right. So final question before we let you go. You're about to, it's February 2nd now. It's already game start this month. So what's your schedule looking like as you build up for actual report day? Like, what kind of things are you I know you said you have a lot more free time right now, but what kind of things are you doing to fill time before things start picking up?
So in my free time right now, we're doing a lot of laying by the pool, because we don't get this type of sun in January, February in the Midwest or anywhere else really. So me and my roommate Landry have gone out to the pool or sat in a hot tub multiple number of days and we'll use it the term recovery for our bodies from the weightlifting and stuff, but really just go lay out by the pool and such.
A little jealous of that. Like I said, there is a few inches of snow on the ground up here. It's about 30 degrees. I'm sure Landry is excited to be out of Canada cold right now as well. But
yes,
Alex, we appreciate you hopping on. Definitely looking forward to seeing you down at the complex and obviously getting into games too. I know it's going to be an exciting time for you, but Alex, thank you so much for taking the time to hop on with us.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
Appreciate it.